Hello everyone, my name is Elite Trainer Kenway, and I've been thinking, why is the new Pokemon Scarlet and Violet DLC called the Hidden Treasure of Area Zero? For context, when Pokemon announced the DLC for Sword and Shield a couple of years ago, it was just the Isle of Armor in the Crown Tundra. But with Scarlet and Violet, we've got DLC 1, the Teal Mask, DLC 2, the Indigo Disc, and the overarching name, the Hidden Treasure of Area Zero. Now, as far as we can tell from the first two trailers, both of the DLCs take place outside of the Paldea region, which makes the overarching reference to Area Zero make even less sense. I believe the name, the Hidden Treasure of Area Zero, has nothing to do with the DLCs themselves. Rather, I believe it describes the story of what happens when you return to Paldea after visiting Blueberry Academy. To explain why, we're going to have to go back 5 months to one of my previous videos. In a previous video, I quickly went through 5 mini-theories about the Paldea region, the last of which was to suggest that the Pokemon League in Paldea was quickly running out of money thanks to Penny and Team Star. In that original theory, I pointed out that Penny hacked into the Pokemon League disguised as Cassiopeia to pay you to take down Team Star. That much we know for a fact. I then took it one step further to suggest that Penny also used the Pokemon League's money to finance Team Star in the first place, creating a massive amount of inflation and rendering league points virtually worthless outside of Paldea. I also pointed out that all 8 of the gym leaders had some sort of other profession, and that none of the gym leaders considered the gyms to be their primary responsibility. I also mentioned that Larry was thrown into the Elite Four despite very obviously not caring for Pokemon battles, and that Poppy was also very likely put into the Elite Four to replace someone who'd recently quit. And honestly, that's where I was going to leave that theory. By the time that video went up, I had moved on to my next project, and honestly, I didn't think there was enough meat there to warrant a full video. However, after spending some more time in Paldea, I am 100% convinced that the Paldean Pokemon League is going broke. So let's talk about it. In that last theory, I mentioned that you can't go above the lobby in any of the 8 gyms, and I briefly mentioned that the Pokemon League building itself, from what we can see, consisted of only one empty white room and a roof. What I forgot to mention is that you can only battle the Paldean Pokemon League once per save file. In every single generation of Pokemon, you can battle the Elite Four as many times as you want. This is the first time in Pokemon franchise history that you've only been able to fight the Elite Four one time per save file. So I think that an Elite Four rematch will be possible after both DLCs are complete, but we'll talk about that in just a minute. The main reason I believe you currently cannot rematch the Elite Four is because the Elite Four is no longer functionally active. The Pokemon League currently cannot afford to keep that building running and to keep those Elite Four members working. As I said before, having a young child sit on the Elite Four is a huge red flag that suggests the Pokemon League is not paying its bills. I thoroughly believe that Larry and Poppy were put on the Elite Four to replace 2 members who recently quit, and I think we know the 2 members who recently quit. In the comment section of that last video, someone suggested cab driver Paco and Dendra were the 2 Elite Four members that quit, prompting Geeta to replace them with Larry and Poppy. Dendra, we know, is an extremely talented trainer who's been best friends with Tulip ever since they were children. We also know that Tulip doesn't necessarily care for Geeta, and I believe that when the Pokemon League started running out of money, Tulip convinced Dendra to come work at the gym instead of on the Elite Four. And as for cab driver Paco, Paco is also an extremely gifted Pokemon trainer who wants to test you before you take on the Pokemon League. And we know thanks to Larry that Elite Four members of Paldea are told what type of Pokemon they're going to use. Despite the fact that Larry doesn't like battling, and despite the fact that he's comfortable with normal type Pokemon, Larry was told that he's going to use flying type Pokemon when he battles as an Elite Four member. This makes me think that Paco was also told that he was going to be a flying type trainer, and as we can see when we battle him outside the Pokemon League, he's definitely not a flying type trainer. So it's entirely possible that Paco left the Pokemon League because he was forced to use Pokemon he wasn't comfortable with, and also because he saw his paycheck slowly dwindling down. But because he genuinely enjoys battling, he wants to test strong trainers to see if they're ready for the Pokemon League. Now, I've mentioned Larry a couple of times, but there are a number of gym leaders who either dislike or disagree with the way Geeta runs the Pokemon League. We've already talked about Tulip, who is admittedly not one of Geeta's biggest fans, Not only that, but it seems Katie, Rhyme, and Grusha also hold a disdain for the way Geeta is handling Pokemon League. After your rematch with Katie, she states that she's specifically going to make the Cortando gym battle much harder for future trainers, seemingly stepping out of line for how Geeta wants her to run the Cortando gym. Grusha expresses to you that he believes Geeta, quote, has it out for him, because she sent a trainer that she knew he couldn't beat to review him. Grusha also tells you that his passion for battling has recently frozen over, then thanks you for rekindling that passion. Yet another example of a Paldean gym leader who had lost their passion for battling. But the most hostile reaction to Geeta comes from the gym leader Rhyme. Rhyme is absolutely insulted that Geeta would send a rookie champion to test her gym. She then quickly apologizes to you, saying that you weren't the one who struck that nerve, and even going so far as to tell you that she wanted to see you anyway. So Rhyme makes it very clear that you are not the person she has a problem with. Rhyme, Grusha, Katie, Larry, and Tulip all have issues with Geeta and the way she runs the Pokemon League. There's one more thing I want to mention that, in my mind, absolutely proves that there's a financial crisis in Paldea. You can go to the Puerto Marinada auction once a day where they auction all sorts of rare items. However, they're also auctioning off regular items. Pokeballs, Great Balls, Ultra Balls, Premier Balls, Feathers, Lemonade, all sorts of everyday, what should be cheap items are being auctioned off in bulk at Puerto Marinada. Thanks to Penny and Team Star and Geeta's mismanagement of the Pokemon League, inflation has gotten out of control in Paldea and something must happen soon, which is where I believe the hidden treasure for Area Zero will come into play. After we come back from Blueberry Academy in the second half of the DLC, I predict one of two things is going to happen. One, Geeta is going to go with you to Area Zero in order to find resources to restore Paldea's well. Or two, Geeta will go herself down to Area Zero to take the treasure of Paldea for herself or to escape into the past or future, similar to how Cyrus escaped into the Distortion World in Generation 4, or how Rainbow Giovanni hopped dimensions in Generation 7. Honestly, since we were never given a true villain for Generation 9, I believe that Geeta's intent is to steal the treasure of Paldea and escape into the past or the future. Either way, we'll know for sure this winter when the Indigo Disc drops. That's it for me this week. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. I hope you have a fantastic week and I'll see you all soon. Peace.